Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and this is part 2, a continuation of the video that I made earlier. So here we have a great article from the Mobile Report. I will leave it in the description down below so you guys can check it out. So I want to start off with an opening statement, and this will probably be a longer video. Leadership positions at these corporations are oftentimes very important. And just in general, somebody has to lead and somebody has to follow. Well, oftentimes people just aren't good at what they do. It just happens that way. I've seen it, working at fast food restaurants. I'm sure you guys have seen it. You guys have had bad managers, and it's not knocking them. They're talented at something else, but they're just not good at what they're doing currently. And in this case, I think Hans Vestberg is just not a great leader as the CEO for Verizon. I just don't believe it. And I think he's the reason that some of these other leaders that are great and have great qualities are not shining. He's holding them back. He's more of a yes man, and what I say goes, and no, I don't want to do this. He's that type of leader, in my opinion. So now that I got that out the way, here we have the article. We're going to break this down. We're going to speak on this in more detail because I wanted to share this with you guys. So now that way you can form your opinion if this is a horrible move or if this is somewhat positive. As I mentioned in the previous video, I kind of like the choice and the optionality. But again, the negatives could far outweigh the positives. So Verizon to launch new plans on May 18th, retire existing plans. So this is a new detail that we learned. The old plans will be retired. Moving forward, the only two plans that Verizon is going to offer is the Unlimited Plus and the Unlimited Welcome. Get more, do more, play more, all of that will be retired. If you have those plans, you will be grandfathered into that plan. But as soon as you switch to one of these newer plans, that's it. You have lost to get more. You have lost to do more, play more. You can no longer switch back. And I highly recommend, if you are a current Verizon customers in a get more plan or a do more plan, I highly recommend you not switch to this new plan because it's a downgrade. Let's call it what it is. It's a downgrade. So shortly after T-Mobile announced their new Go 5G plans, Verizon responded by sharing they'd have an announcement to make on May 15th. Thanks to a tip, we now know that announcement will likely be new plan called My Plan, available in both Unlimited Welcome and Unlimited Plus variants. These two new options will fully replace all of the existing unlimited plans Verizon has, and customers with those plans will be grandfathered, as I just mentioned. The news comes via a few images shared with us at the T-Mobile report, embedded below, as well as a few details from our sources that plans are set to become available May 18th. According to the images, the new plan type is designed to become cheaper the more lines you have, just like T-Mobile plans. So I kind of wanted to discuss that, right? So I mentioned earlier in the video that the pricing is dropping about $10 per line, but you have no perks. The plan literally has zero perks, zero value attached to it. And to top it off, currently on the Get More, you have 50 gigs of hotspot. On this new Unlimited Plus, you're only down to 30. And I think the reason they're doing this is because they're trying to upsell a new perk that they've added, which comes with an additional $10 ad. So let's briefly move to the perk section. So these are all the perks that you're seeing on screen that will be allowed to be added onto the Unlimited Plus and the Unlimited Welcome. And one of those perks is a 100 gig mobile hotspot. So you can now go from 30 to 100 if you choose to, but you have to pay at $10 extra dollars, which is usually a value of $35. Right? If you guys remember, I believe it was last year or the year before, Verizon introduced a unlimited plus, but that was for hotspot purposes. You had to pay an extra $35. You got 100 gigs of mobile hotspots. So Verizon is cutting that down to 10 as long as you add it to the unlimited plus here. And then these are all the other perks that they're adding. Disney Plus, you now have to add. Apple One, you have to add. I would probably say the Apple One is probably the most value that you can get out of this. It comes with Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, Apple Cloud. So I think that is the best value out of all of these perks. Again, Walmart, the Walmart Plus membership has been added. Smartwatch, $10. 2 terabytes of cloud storage for $10. 3-day travel pass for $10. And Plus Play monthly credit for $10. So again, all of these are the add-ons. You can look at it in the link. You can pause the video, read it for yourself. But just wanted to share that because that's where it could potentially pivot, right? From being cheaper to being more expensive than even the Get More, depending on how many perks you end up adding. Right? If you add the Disney Plus, the Apple One, and let's say you want the 100 gigs hotspot, you're now paying more than the Get More. And Verizon, at the same token, they're going to make more profit off of that. So this plan is receiving a lot of negativity right now. A lot of negativity. A lot of people aren't happy with it at all. It presents, other than the cheaper cost, it presents zero value. None. It has no value. In fact, they're reducing some of the value with the hotspot, as I mentioned. They're taking 20 gigs off from the Get More to try and get you to try and upsell you that extra $10 to get to 100 gigs. I mean, that's very, when they said the carrier had something to say, they really meant that, So this is going to be hard to break down. I want to say there's some positivity because they're giving you the choice, right? You don't have to add anything and then you pay less. But if you just want one thing, it's only $10 more. So you're paying the same as to Get More. It's just, it's kind of hard to really break this down. It'll probably take me a few days to really brainstorm and speak to a few more people. But most analysts that I've spoken with, they're saying this is horrible. A lot of people that I'm seeing, this is bad, this is terrible. So another thing that I want to point out too, to make you guys aware, if you switch to this plan, every single thing will be toggled off in terms of high definition or your streaming. So if you have the Unlimited Plus that allows 4K when you're on C-band, it's going to be standard by default 720p until you turn on that toggle to allow you to do 4K. And with the Unlimited Welcome, it's 480p no matter what. And then on the Unlimited Plus, if you're dropping down to LTE or nationwide 5G to DSS, it's also 480p until you switch that toggle to on, then it goes to 720p. So for some that don't know, that don't care, they get onto these plans, they will likely never know to turn on that toggle, and they'll just be at 480p or 720 or whatever. They'll never even experience 4K. And I know a lot of people don't really care about that, but I just thought that was interesting to note on this video so you guys are aware. Make sure you go into my Verizon app, turn on the toggle if you want the higher streaming. So a few other things that have been pointed out to me, I don't think those are too big of a deal. So if you use more than 500 gigs a month on one of your lines, which I don't think many of you do, you're going to be throttled down to 5 megabits a second on LTE and nationwide 5G. This does not apply to ultra wideband, I'm hearing, but it is there. So they're now offering truly unlimited, but yet there's still somewhat of a cap, if you will. Now, throttling down to the 5 megabits a second is not too big of a deal. Most won't notice. 5 megabits a second, you can still do 720p, which Verizon doesn't really advertise 4K anyway, even with these new plans. Keep in mind, these new plans are coming out when they're now covering over 200 million pops with C-band, and they're still not really pushing the 4K story. T-Mobile instantly pivoted to 4K. As soon as they had a little bit of N41 on air, if you guys remember, they introduced Magenta Max, they went right to 4K. So I'm not knocking Verizon for that, because a lot of people don't really care about 4K, but it's just an interesting point to point out. So again, I will leave a link to this in the description so you guys can check it out. Of course, we're going to talk about this for the next several days. It's just it's just hard to really get excited about it. It's really hard to recommend this plan, unless you're just wanting the access, the premium access, and you don't want the perks, or you never wanted the perks to begin with, but you chose to get more anyway. Then I could see you switching to this plan to save money. But if you're into that ecosystem on the Get More, and you like the Disney Plus and the Apple Music and all that good stuff, then I can't recommend this new plan at all whatsoever. I just can't. And as for Verizon, I'll just finish it off with this to not make the video too long. I don't think this helps with their growth at all. I still think it goes back to my opening statement. It's a leadership issue at Verizon. Sometimes, not everybody can be in the NBA. Not everybody's a singer. Not everybody can be in the NFL. And there's some people that don't know how to play sports at all, right? So sometimes you have to step back and realize what the real problem is. And I'm really starting to think, and I've been thinking that. I mean, you guys have heard me in my previous videos. It's Hans Vestberg. It's the leadership, where he's the direction that he's taking the company, and they're just putting out stuff trying to see if it sticks. And this is not going to work. This is not going to get people to break down the doors at Verizon Retail. This is not going to get anybody to pick up the phone, 1-800, whatever their number is, and call the call centers. This is not going to work at all. It's just not. It's going to be there for some that are interested in Verizon, right? Because that's the only thing the reps can sell, and they can push a cheaper cost of plan, right? But then they could be like, look, I can get you into this perk, that perk, that perk, that perk, and it's $10 more, but then it's going to cost you this much, right? So you compare that to T-Mobile. T-Mobile wins all day long. T-Mobile didn't really reduce their perks when they introduced this new plan. In fact, they've been adding to it. Right? They added Apple TV permanently. Netflix is still there. You got the AAA, you got the in-flight Wi-Fi, and who knows what else they add in the future. A lot of people are saying Verizon didn't just do a 180. They did a complete 360 with this new plan. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.